Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's September 1st, 2022. It's the last Thursday before Labor Day weekend. And just yesterday I ended up falling into a pretty good sized pick that was a last minute deal. I literally met the guy for the first time midday yesterday, and we got to talking and ended up making arrangements to go to his house last night, and ended up coming away with quite a few items. There was some other stuff there, but he ended up allowing me to put together a pretty good sized pile. So I actually ended up spending probably about 2 or 3 hours on that pick. And after all was said and done, I ended up laying out quite a bit of cash for this one. But let's dive right in and take a look at what I got. All right, here's one of the 2 boxes that I ended up bringing home last night. Take a few minutes to get organized here, and we'll take a look at what I got. So the first purchase I made was this Starrett 565 pin punch set. These are the shorter ones. It's a complete set. They're all Starrett. They are well used. You can tell by the wear or the peening over on the ends there. But the tips are still decent enough. And I actually have probably quite a few of these just loose, and I could swap them out and make it into a much nicer set. And I actually have the long ones, but I don't have a full set like this of the short ones, so I may end up keeping this set. I haven't decided yet. I gave $25 for that. Next was this nice Starrett pitch gauge with just the box top. Got that for $15. This set of small Starrett hole gauges is the 831E series hole gauges. I got these for $25. These are actually in excellent condition. Complete little set. These are the ones that are the flat bottom ones, for good for blind holes. Next up, I put these 2 items together for $15. This is a Starrett center gauge with the little Next up, I put these 2 items together for $15. This is a Starrett center gauge, but it also has the little center gauge attachment in there. And this is a little microscope. Interesting spelling there, M-I-K-R-O-S-K-O-P, because it is from Poland, from Warsaw, Poland. So I've never seen one of these before, and it caught my eye. So I thought it was, pardon the pun, microscope catching your eye. But looks like on the side here it says that it is 16 power to 32 power. So I haven't quite figured out yet exactly how this works. Well, pretty straightforward. You take the cap off and you can look through the objective lens. You take the cap off and you can look through the eyepiece, and it's a little scope. Just kind of surprised that this comes off with this. I wonder if I'm not doing that right. Then I got this set of hole gauges. I actually paid a little more than I wanted to for these. I paid $20 for these, but they actually are in really clean condition. And I've had this brand before, this Precision brand. So not sure where these are actually. Okay, they say Japan on the back. So it's interesting. It says the company name and it says USA, but it doesn't say made in USA. It just kind of implies it maybe, or they're just saying that it's distributed by them. But these are Japanese made, so they're probably like NSK or something. But they're actually pretty decent quality. I paid $20 for that set. Wish he had a pair of these. This is a nice little Armstrong screw jack. Armstrong Tool Company. I've had a couple of these in the past. This one is in good condition. $10. This is the first of a couple of fly cutters I ended up buying. Gave $5 for that. Shop made one, small. And then later I came across this larger one, and he wanted $10 for this one, but then he said, well, he's including the holder, as he called it, but it's just an R8 collet. But it's a hardened collet. It's actually a good quality collet, so I figured I meant each one of these for $5, which, that's fine. And this was the first big pool of pile that I put together. This is 5 indicators And to close the deal, I ended up having him throw in this little Starrett square. It's pretty clean. Nice little one. It's a little 6-inch in great shape. I got the square and the 5 indicators here that I'm going to show you for $225. So this is a interrapid vertical indicator that appears to be brand new. And it's just the foam has dried out from age. And then this one is another interrapid. This is the more standard horizontal style one. Also appears to be brand new. This is the last word that he ended up throwing in at the end of the night, and I just put it in here for safekeeping. And this last word actually works. Rarely do I find broken last words. They seem to be one of the best designs that Starrett ever came up with as far as durability. And this is a Mitutoyo indicator that was in a interrapid box, but then I found this this Mitutoyo indicator box in another drawer with a Federal Testmaster in it. So I left the Testmaster and got him to throw in the box with the purchase of this Mitutoyo DTI. And then these two used interrapids, early case here, really early, the old alligator style or whatever. But it's a vertical, and it seems to be working perfectly fine. And in this case, another early interrapid case, we have another vertical. This is the small face, and also seems to be working perfectly fine. And I found a couple of these Starrett micrometer ball attachments. These are this is a 247A and a 247D. And what these are little tiny caps with a ball end that you can put over your micrometer's anvil. And these appear to be brand new. And I paid $5 a piece for these. This indicator quill clamp. This is a rip-off of an Indicall 178, but it's not marked at all, so it's probably an aftermarket one. But it's complete. Everything seems to be there. I ended up giving 10 for that. This Starrett flange micrometer, I ended up giving 25 for. Without the case, wasn't too thrilled about having to pony up 25 for it, but it is very clean. So that's a Starrett 256. The lock works, the ratchet works. So then I got this Starrett mag base for $30. This is it's a model 657 magnetic base, which this magnetic push button 657 base is very common. But what's unusual about this one is this one has this articulating deal here where you just flipped. This predates Noga's revolutionary design that came later, where you can just loosen that one lever and this whole thing will give you all kinds of flexibility. Even, you might even say more flexibility in some ways than the Noga. And then you lock it and that stiffens up really nicely. And it has the fine adjust on the base, which I like. On the Noga, the fine adjust is on the end of the arm, so you have to have a light touch. This is kind of nice. I think I have one of these now, so I'll probably end up maybe, this one's much cleaner than mine. I'll probably keep this one and sell my other one. And I got this small boring head right here. I ended up paying $40 for it, and I got them to throw in these boring bars that I found that seem to fit this perfectly. I have no idea who makes this boring head. It has a look to it like an early Bridgeport or a Criterion head, but I cannot find any maker's marks or markings on it to indicate who made this. So unfortunately, I have to treat it as if it's a import, and it may very well be an import. I don't know. It's a nice small compact size. Hopefully I'll be able to get my money back on that one. Then he had one combination square sitting there, and I picked it up and looked at it, and the blade looked much older than the head that was on it. This head looks mint. So I looked at it more closely and realized the blade was a miller's fall. So I actually said, I don't even want the blade. I left the blade and I asked him, how much just for this lot, which consists of two very clean, this one's been engraved, but other than that, very clean square heads, both Starrett, both marked hardened. Two Starrett center gauges. And one Starrett combination, one Starrett protractor, also engraved, but otherwise very nice, great condition. I got that lot for $45. I put together this next lot for $110. Consists of the Starrett 54C hold downs, pair of them. So these are great for holding down small, thin items. I think I've got this size, so I'll probably be able to resell those. This very early, probably brown and sharp by the looks of it, depth gauge. No, that's actually a Starrett. It's a very early Starrett. That does actually have a number on it. So this is kind of a neat collectible, this old Starrett. It's a depth gauge that's patented April of 1903. And the interesting thing is that the price on these, it's a 446A, and the price on these on eBay, realized prices are sold, run anywhere from as low as like $12 up to a high of like 40. And you know, it's funny, somebody only got like $12 change for one in the case, and somebody got like 40 for one without the case. And I think I know why. If I go back and look at the listings, it'll probably verify that. You notice these sleeves right here, that's a 1/2 inch spacer, that's a 1/2 inch spacer, and that's a 1 inch spacer. So once you put those spacers on in the combination you want, you automatically preset this to, you know, a 1/2 inch or 1.5 inches or 2 inches, right? So if these go missing, which they often probably do, that would probably be what's affecting the value on those. And this case is kind of rough on the outside too, unfortunately, but it's still a nice little find. And included with that lot were, this is a Interrapid indicator case that was just loaded with gauge blocks, or I shouldn't say necessarily loaded, but there's enough in here, some nice ones, you know. They might be Weber's, I don't know. Yeah, that's a Weber. Got a nice mirror finish on them. This is one of the style with the hole through the middle, and here's a large one with the hole through the middle. So figured I'll just add those to my collection of orphan gauge blocks that I used for filling out sets when I occasionally have the time. And then these two indicators here, which I didn't include in the original indicator buy because they're older. This is an Alina. Works perfectly. Well, actually, no, this one, that's right. This one was a little slow, but not much. But it's a 10ths indicator, Alina, made in Switzerland. That'll be a nice cheap indicator for somebody. And this one in the other Interrapid case, but it's actually a early compact. So this is also a 10ths indicator. This one seems to be working better. And again, this is a Swiss made, good quality. Oh, look at that. The head is loose on that, but that actually is not that difficult of a fix. So that's just the screws have come loose, and the screws are underneath the face. So it's the hardest thing about fixing that is actually getting the hands off. But anyways, nice indicator for somebody. And this Starrett square was included in this with the stuff that's in it, which is really just not much at all. This, let's see, there's a scriber, unmarked as far as maker. Pencils. Here's a little advertising scale, 3-inch. And then here's a satin chrome finish Starrett scale. But the main thing was what the box is for, which is this number 20 Starrett square. I think it's a 6-inch. Actually pretty darn clean. Well, what do we got? Another one of these, yeah, another one of these advertising scales. I got this 22nd edition machinery handbook for 10 bucks. And then I got these two Starrett 0 to 6 inch depth micrometer sets for 100. But that also included some miscellaneous items, which I think were these items here, which are just some random parallels. That's a pair. Yeah, that's a pair. There are 3 pairs of random parallels. Another pair of these style screw jacks that I've come across many a time. That one's missing the part in the top there, and this one, it's a little bit different design. This is a 2-stage one, and this one isn't. Interesting. And this is a, it's branded GE, but this is one of those, it's actually 2 in the case here, surface profiler type of gauges. So, got all the different types of surfaces for comparison in your grading surface.